History often remembers empires by their victories, their scholars, and their golden ages. But some stories were buried so deeply that even centuries later, they still struggle to breathe. This is one of those stories. For more than 1,000 years, a vast slave trade stretched across North Africa, the Middle East, and parts of Asia. Millions of Africans were taken from their homes, not across the Atlantic, but eastward. This was the Arab slave trade. And for African women caught inside it, survival was not always mercy. Caravans moved slowly across deserts. Chained women walked for weeks under the sun, many collapsing before they reached the coast or market towns. Those who survived the journey faced a fate shaped not by labor alone, but by ownership of their bodies. Unlike plantation slavery, where physical work defined value, African women in the Arab slave markets were often valued for something else entirely. They were bought young, separated deliberately, isolated completely. Many were taken into private households where their lives vanished from records. No names, no descendants, no voices left behind. Some were forced into domestic service. Others were taken as concubines, legal under the system of the time and protected by law rather than condemned by it. Consent did not exist in a world where a human being could be owned. Pregnancy did not mean freedom. Children born into this system often inherited slavery or were absorbed into families in ways that erased their African identity completely. Languages disappeared, memories vanished, lineages ended, and then there was something even more final. Many African men were castrated before being sold east. The operation was brutal and survival rates were low. Women witnessed this process, knowing what awaited those who lived and what happened to those who didn't. For women, there was no equivalent escape through death or distance. They lived longer, but trapped. They were absorbed into societies that recorded them only as possessions. Islamic courts documented transactions, not trauma. Poetry praised beauty, not suffering. The result was something chilling. An entire population slowly erased without leaving a visible scar in modern demographics. In the Americas, descendants of enslaved Africans survive today by the millions. Their cultures endured, their history speaks. But in much of the Middle East and North Africa, the descendants of enslaved African women are largely absent, not because they never existed, but because the system was designed to erase them. African women were prevented from forming families of their own. Their children were taken, their identities diluted, their bloodlines absorbed until nothing recognizable remained. This is why some historians describe their fate as worse than death. Death ends suffering. Erasure denies that suffering ever happened. For centuries, this trade continued quietly, rarely challenged, rarely condemned, often justified by law, tradition, or silence. Even today, the subject remains uncomfortable. It does not fit neatly into modern narratives of victim and villain. It complicates identities. It raises questions many societies would rather not answer. But history does not disappear because we avoid it. The suffering of African women in the Arab slave trade was real. Their lives mattered. Their loss reshaped entire regions. And remembering them is not about blame. It is about truth. Because the most dangerous injustice is not cruelty alone. It is cruelty that is forgotten.